Welcome to another edition of Len's Burning Bush. I am Len Harvey. Before I bring on my guest for the week, I want to talk about what's really burning my bush. So this is something that has been bothering me for years about companies. In the pay TV and the mobile industry in particular, this has been very much a pain in the neck. New customers being more important than the existing steady customers, who lock in these deals, right? These promotional deals that are only good. You have to be a new customer to get this, and it's really ridiculous. So I'll give you an example recently. I had cable service. I'll keep them nameless, but I had their internet. I had the cable. I was lured with a great starter deal for 2 years. Then, of course, it went up to the point of ridiculousness. You know, they say, well, your promotion is expired. I'm like, yeah, okay, so the same service that was $130 is now $230. That makes no sense to me. You know, what's even more crazy is after trying to call them several times and see if I can get a deal, they're like, well, we really can't do much for you, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, well, that's good because I'm canceling. And when I was going to cancel, then they started to do more. I said, well, it's too late. I already canceled. And 30 days, this is kind of even more crazy. So I waited 30 days because what I really wanted is just the internet only, right? Because that's what we really need these days is the internet. You have to have it. It's got to be fast, and everybody complains if it's not. So you got to get the internet back, and unfortunately, cable companies have the market on the internet, right? So I waited 30 days, and what happened was I was able to go as a new customer. So I got the new customer deal that I wanted. But why did I have to move? Why did I have to switch, come back? It's a real pain in the neck. The first deal should be the real price and maybe go up a few years, a little bit after that, but stop telling us that $120 monthly service is now $200 for the same exact service. You're not giving me anything different, and it's just a real pain in the neck to move through, going from service to service. So I think, though, there may be some hope going forward. I saw AT&T is now telling you in their new ad that new and existing customers get the same deal. Mazel tov. Finally, this is the way you can stay and not have to shop around all the time. Let's hope the new normal or original customer will continue, and this isn't just another promotion that ends with the loyal person always getting screwed. With that being said, it's time to bring on my guest for the week. She is a talented actor, writer, filmmaker. She does it all. She even has her own production company. Please welcome Jezebel Montero to Len's Burning Bush. Jez, it's been a long time. You look fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to see you too. My God, we haven't seen each other, in 20 years?
It's been that
Basically
at
20
least that
years.
we worked together.
Well, we were 15.
Yeah, well, exactly. Because you're. I thought you were only 29, but that's pretty good. You were. Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
15 when we met.
That's terrific. We worked together in New York City doing some traffic, doing some other stuff. You were on the radio. I was on the radio. It was a kind of a fun time for us. But you have kind of branched into many things, and we'll get to that because I love the fact that you're acting, you're directing, you're doing exactly what you want to do, which is tremendous. But I want to get to my rant a little bit with you and find out: are you tired of this whole new customer versus the whole?
I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I just saw a commercial on it. It was so funny. Now they're doing.
Yeah.
It's funny that you bring that up because they have commercials addressing this thing. These funny commercials about old customers and new customers.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you a quick story. The same thing happened to me maybe 10 years ago. I wanted to get the deal that they were offering at the time. They wouldn't give it to me. I won't mention the company because I just don't want to burn any bridges. But I said to them, I am going to leave you if you don't give me the deal that you're offering every other new customer. I've been a loyal customer.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave them the spiel. I've been a loyal customer. I'm very dedicated. I love your company. Blah blah blah. The spiel. They said no. It gets better. So I leave. And you're right. It's a hassle. It's so annoying. So I left, and I have Verizon now, Verizon Fios, which I'm very happy with. But you cannot believe how many phone calls, text, emails I got from the previous company that I left begging me to come back. And I was like, and you know what, Len, they did want to give me a lower deal, but I said to them, this is, they record all the phone calls and the emails. And I said to them, I begged you. I said, listen, give me the same deal and I'll stay with you. And now, after I've switched, after the whole hassle, now you want to give me the deal? I said, no. I said, now I'm paying more on the other company, but just out of principle. I said, no.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it out of
Yeah.
principle because I do the
Out
same
of
thing.
principle.
It drives me nuts. And I hate the damn surveys for everything. I did a whole episode on
Yeah.
surveys. It's like giving me a survey. I told you why I'm leaving you. This is not like a girlfriend that doesn't know why she's getting dumped, right?
You record
Yes.
it. You record our
This
conversations.
this is what it is. It's about the call is being recorded for quality assurance.
Yes.
Well, apparently the
Exactly.
quality is not very good because you're not taking you're it's like the Seinfeld episode where you know how to take the reservation. You just don't know how to keep, to give me
You
the
can't-
reservation. You can take it, but you can't keep it.
That's really funny. That's
yeah.
so true.
It is.
Yeah,
The whole thing is it's a scam, and AT&T is finally coming out with new and existing customers getting the same deal.
Wow.
Is this going to last, Jess? I hope so.
I don't think so.
No.
I hate to be a cynic. I'm not a cynic. I'm a very
No.
positive person, but I don't think so.
No.
That in and of itself, Len, is a promotion.
Yeah. Oh, of
Telling
course.
you that they're going to give you the same thing as old customers, that's a promotion. And it'll only last, whatever it lasts, a couple of months.
But
you know?
the argument that they give you on this, and again, I got on the phone with this cable company for 3 times to try to stay. It's like your last effort with your boyfriend or girlfriend or your wife, just your last effort to say, hey, I want to stay with you. Make it work. Let's go to therapy,
Yeah,
right?
I did
Let's
it.
go to
Yes,
therapy,
yes.
right? Let's do this. And, all I want is a reasonable rate, right? I'm not asking. I know they need to make money. We all need to eat. I get that.
Yes.
And you're willing to pay what you're willing to pay. And it's like 150 was a sweet spot for cable and internet, right?
It was.
So
it
I had to
was.
go shopping around. I had to go to Dish Network, had to do this, had to go, the whole thing. And it was a real pain. I found out that the TV's much better on the Dish Network side than it was on the
Yes.
cable anyway, which worked out good. But the fact remains that you're sitting there telling them, look, if you get me down, and I was at, $240, I'm like, get me back down to 150, I'm staying, right?
Yeah,
Instead, they lose the whole
yeah.
thing. I have to
Yup.
leave, right? They were getting 200 and they lose the 200. Then now, 30 days later, I'm able to get this $49.99 internet for 2 years. Like, you know what I'm
Wow.
saying? So
Wow.
it doesn't make any sense. I couldn't get it
No,
before.
no.
They only
And they
wanted to
didn't
give
beg
me
you back?
They didn't,
They didn't-
well, they didn't beg me back until after the 30 days. Now I'm getting more stuff, and even because I signed up already, but I'm getting more stuff. But you're right; they just consistently just, it's a hassle, and it happens in the mobile industry. Although I got to say, T-Mobile has been pretty good. I've kept my rate, and
Is
there's no introductory or whatever with T-Mobile, so they do a pretty good job with that,
My
and they've been very
Verizon
nice.
my Verizon is pretty high, but I'm the customer service is great actually, and I just have all the bells and whistles, and I'm totally fine with
Yeah.
it. I'm okay. I haven't had to cut it back, but it is actually pretty expensive.
Well,
you know
if-
what I mean? So
If you think about this, what we pay now for television, internet, and mobile phone service, you could
Yes.
furnish a 2-bedroom apartment. For, I mean,
So true.
it used to be, right?
So
This
true,
is like the
yes.
new utilities. Your new utilities are $500, $600, $700 a month to watch TV,
Yeah.
internet. I always like to say, when you get your water bill, you're washing clothes or whatever, and you're taking showers, and you're paying absorbent of money for your water bill every month. But this TV, internet, and phone is out of control.
it's
Out of
insane.
control.
It's out
right?
of control. Do you have a landline?
No, not anymore.
I still do.
Oh,
I'm
you
one
do?
of those people still living in the cave. Yeah,
Oh.
I have a landline, and it's just an emergency thing. It's
Yeah.
like old school. It's an emergency thing. I really hardly ever use it. Like when I hear the landline ring, I said, "Okay, somebody died.
Yeah.
Somebody's dead. I have to go to a funeral. Somebody died," because nobody calls me on that thing, except spam callers, marketers, and somebody serious, like my mom or so. I just like the landline. I actually don't sleep with my phone, my cell phone,
Right.
in my room. So, because if not, it'd keep me up all night. So I don't sleep. So the phone I do have is the landline in my room. So the landline is like my emergency backup. So I do, but the landline only costs like $25, $30. It's not
Exactly. The
expensive.
landline's not the problem. It's
not the
'cause,
problem.
Like I've got 6 lines. I've got my father-in-law, my mother. I've got my kids on my line. Everybody's on my
Oh,
line,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I'm paying
that's good.
absorbent amount of money, and then I've got the TV and the internet and the other stuff and the bill. It's like you can't, do anything before you step out. You just, and it's the same thing like with the cable company, arguing with them whether it's 240 versus 150, and it's like it's not whether you can afford it or not, but why am I giving them $90 more, right?
That's right. I completely agree with you.
Right. It's the $90. Like I could have dinner.
It's a principle.
Yeah.
There is a principle involved.
Exactly. The principle involved, and I love it. I love that you understand me on this, and this has been a burning bush for me for a long time, and I had to get it off my chest. This is what this show does. It's a therapy for me, really.
It's a therapy. That's what I thought. I'm your therapist today. Is that what's
Thank
happening?
you very much, and I appreciate because you really need to help me because we lost a couple of big people this week. We lost Cloris Leachman, 94 years old. God bless.
My God, I know.
We're losing all these people. We lost Hank Aaron last week. We also Cicely Tyson, passed away, and she was in Roots, right? Is one of the things.
She was originally in Roots.
Yeah, in the 19.
And then she was. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
1970s.
Yeah,
1970s. But more recently, Cicely Tyson was on The Guilty Pleasure, How to Get Away with Murder, on ABC with Viola Davis, and she played Viola Davis's mother. So that's very recent.
Yeah,
so she was working into her 90s.
That's
amazing?
spectacular. It's like Betty White. We talked about, Betty. I did a show on Betty White turned 99, and it's like, my goodness, these people were. We're losing all the great ones this year. Last year we lost Eddie Van Halen. We're losing. It's just like this is what sucks about getting old, Jazz. And of course we're young. But what sucks is we you work with people, you do it, you're seeing people pass away now. And of course with the COVID stuff, it's just been brutal. I did an episode where 2021 kind of feels like 2020. It's like the feels like temperature. We're hoping it gets better. I hope it does because
it's going to get better.
It's going to get better. There is a good story though. A lot of people, we talked off the air about going out a little bit, going out to eat and going stuff. And what the problem that has been going on, a lot of the servers are losing so much money, right? They're not getting their normal tips. They're not getting their normal, and they're really hurting because they don't get paid at all. I mean, that whole thing is for another episode to burn my bush about why service industry make something an hour.
Please bring that up because I was in the service industry for the longest time.
I have never understood why
we get less than minimum wage.
Yeah,
and people don't know this, Len. People don't know this. No. You have to do a show on this. They're like, I tell people, and they're like, I don't understand why you don't get minimum wage. You don't even get. We get less than minimum wage in the service industry. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. What I don't understand is, and then the logic doesn't make any sense either, because it's the only industry where the owners don't pay the employees. The actual people in the restaurant pay the employees with their
customers,
right? The customers pay it, which makes no sense to me at all. And the argument has always been, well, we'd have to raise the prices like 15%. I go, that's good because I'm giving them 20, so I'd say 5%. Give the people what they should be commissioned people. Like whatever they bring in, it should be a commission. Whether it's 6% of all their checks, whatever the number is, let's give them what they are. They're salespeople just like anything else. They're trying to promote business, and they're out there doing the dirty work. So
it should be the minimum wage, and then the commission, and then based on your sales. That's what they do in Canada. That's what they do in Europe. I've been both to Canada and Europe, and I would literally ask the servers, how does it work? And they have no qualms. Right. And they're completely used to it. And they get benefits. I mean, we'll get on that another day.
Yeah,
too.
of course.
Restaurants don't offer benefits. Things like that.
It's just crazy. But Darius Rucker, who is a great singer, he's been in Hootie and the Blowfish, has his own.
Oh yeah.
Darius. He's 54 years old now, but he's out there in South Carolina now. Early last Sunday morning, he was at a local IHOP in Mount Pleasant. And he left a really generous tip. But what he did was he actually paid for the restaurant. I think he paid everybody's check in the restaurant. And it was like, about that is just wonderful. And that kind of stuff is happening. We saw Donnie Wahlberg give a $2,000 tip to a waitress. Because again, these people
acts
are struggling.
Of kindness.
Yeah.
Acts of kindness.
And we really need acts of kindness because that's really what helps it. I know I've been making sure I've been tipping more
Me too.
And like, you go
too.
out and, you get a $20 bill. Maybe you give them $30 on top of it because
Dude,
it's just,
I
yeah.
tipped the coffee person giving me
Yeah.
coffee in my
Yeah.
coffee place a lot more than I normally did. Like the other day, I don't know, I ordered some coffees for a few people that I was having in my home. And when I mean a few, of course, I mean three. So it's
Yeah.
not more than three these days, right?
Yes.
So I was ordering a bunch of coffees. And I don't know, it came out to $15 or something like that. Some things on the side, and I gave her 5 because I
Yeah.
gave the 20. So I mean, when do you give $5 on 15? Hardly ever.
You don't.
And now I gave 5. I just feel like I have to because they're out there, they're working. They're technically essential workers as far as the food, the supermarkets and the coffee places because they haven't closed. I mean, the coffee hasn't closed. We
No.
need to be like stoned and high the entire time during this time because the coffee places are making a mint.
Exactly. And you talk about that, and the grocery stores, all of them are making a fortune during this time. All these things, but yet these service people they're getting screwed.
Yeah.
They're the ones that got screwed the most in this whole thing.
And I can
the
relate.
small
Like
business.
I said, I was in the service industry like 15 years.
Yeah.
So on and off, being an actor and being in this business, I was on it. So I totally empathize. I agree with you. You need to tip, please, guys. When you're out there, just know that they don't make a minimum wage. They don't even make the minimum wage.
Right.
It's like $3 an hour or something.
Well, getting into a little bit more money is the production company that you're running. We'll talk about how you can make a little bit more by starting your own production company. So talk about this. I want to get to your movie. I want to get to all the things that you're doing because it's so interesting and awards that you're winning. Because I saw in 2018 you won an award. Talk about your production company.
Okay, in a nutshell, what happened was, without giving away my age, Len.
Oh no.
I was in my mid-30s, which is considered middle-aged already. Believe it or not, it's considered middle-aged especially for a woman. Another rant. You'd have to go into the sexism of the industry, but the role started to dwindle. I was actually making a nice living as an actor. I was doing a lot of theater. I was doing indie films myself as an actor. But then the mid-30s, you're no longer in your 20s as an ingenue. But you're too young to play the mom, and you're in that middle ground somehow. And I always wrote. I did sketch comedy. I did comedy. These are things that you guys might know because I was doing radio with you, but I was always an actor. I was always doing stuff on the side, and I did a lot of comedies in theater. So people used to say, "Jez, just write your own. Just write it. But I didn't see myself as a writer. So I was like, okay. And I did write all of my life. I look back and I'm going, but Jez, you were writing all the time. And so, long story short, I wrote Casanova Was a Woman. It was my first feature, loosely based on my personal life. It's a romantic comedy. It's LGBT. It's Latino. It has, my mom's a famous telenovela star, and she was in it. So I used her as the name. I'm quoting right now with my fingers in the air, everybody.
Now,
and so I'm sorry. And I scrounged up the money from people who believed in me, believed in the project, private investors, not a lot of money. The movie looks like $1 million. It costs way less than that. People work. Yeah, I just asked. I pulled in a lot of favors. I owe a lot of people a lot of favors, Len. That's all I know. I'm still paying them.
Well, of course. And what I want to do is, and now you might not hear this. You might not be able to hear it because I don't have but I have the ability to play a clip of the movie and online. You got the trailer on your website, and I just want to play something. You might not be able to hear it, but I can.
It's Casanova Was a Woman. Let me just say, it's Casanova Was a Woman. It was released in 2016, but you can get it, just to let people know, the Amazon contract is up. I have to renew it, but you can get it anywhere. You can go YouTube, Vudu, Google Play, iTunes, Apple TV. Just Google it, Casanova with 2 S's, Was a Woman, and you can watch it.
Okay, let me see if I can play this clip here, which, let's see if it goes. It's a little bit low.
Yeah, no problem. Do what you got to do. I don't hear it, though. You hear it?
Yes, I'm hearing it, but it's a little bit low.
It's okay to be what they call sexually fluid. What would you say if a straight friend wanted to kiss you?
Well, I think it's a little bit low, so I'll stop. I'm going to stop playing it, but It is. I want everybody to go to your website. Why don't you give out your website for your production company? Because I want everybody to listen to it and watch it. You can watch the clip on your website.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. My website is www, of course, Fuacata Films. That's a Spanish term because I'm Cuban. My background is Cuban. We use the word fuacata to denote impact. You know, pow, bam. So fuacata. That's how you have to say it,
Fuacata.
Len.
I love it. Fuacata. Fuacata.
Yes.
Not
That's
bad
good.
for a Jew from the Bronx, right? Is that
Not
get
bad
good?
at all. Not bad at all. It was excellent. It was excellent.
Well.
So it's Fuacata, Fuacata, films.com. And again, just going back to once I did this movie, this film, Casanova Was a Woman, the trajectory of my career completely changed. Like I never saw myself as producing or writing and directing, but I loved it. I really loved it. I love the collaborative aspect of it. As an actor, you're not so collaborative. You know what I mean? You're just thinking of yourself and your role and what's going on with you. And that's the way it should be, right? That's the way it's supposed to be. But as a producer and a director, it's highly collaborative. You cannot do it by yourself. You're constantly working with different departments and a bunch of different people. And that's what I love about it. And as a writer, you have your own voice. So I had a lot of stories to tell, being Latina, growing up poor, daughter of immigrants, that weren't being told. So I started writing. I produced a second feature called Death of a Fool. You could see that on Amazon. I'm writing now a feature film, which I'm going to do the proof of concept short film in the spring. I'm going to actually shoot a short film of the Duke and Duchess of Queens.
Ooh.
It's about my childhood actually in Queens, New York.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and it's a little boy and girl who fall in love, and a lot of things happen between the two families, but it's all told from their perspective. So, so I'm doing a lot of stuff recently, just to keep people up to date. Len, you give me this opportunity to plug.
Absolutely.
So,
Go right ahead.
Recently, tomorrow, the contest for us to win the Audience Award and a cash prize ends tomorrow. If you guys can go to iWoman TV, it's iwoman.tv. If you can go to that website, it's all women filmmakers, and we're in the contest. We're in second place. We went from fourth to second. So we're really excited. And the movie, we'd have a short film comedy. It won Best Ensemble. It won Best Comedy second place. And so now we have a chance, because of that, to win a cash prize in the Audience Award. And the contest ends tomorrow, people, January 31st. You just go there, you hit like, the little thumbs up, and you watch the movie. It's 15 minutes. It's very funny. It's about two sisters in a therapy session, loosely based on my own therapy sessions. So
we won't talk about your therapy. It might be a little bit longer than my therapy.
That's right,
The both
that's
of
right.
us together would be, yeah, go ahead.
No, but just let me tell you the title. The title is Lies in Oblivion, Sessions Vocal Unit. It's an acronym for Law and Order Special Victims Unit. So it's Lies in Oblivion, Sessions Vocal Unit. You'll see it in the comedy section on that page. And just hit like and watch whenever you want. You don't have to watch it at that moment. You just have to hit like. And we had a great time doing it. It's a female centric kind of production, and that's what my mission is with our production company. I do have a couple of people that are part of the company. We want to do diversity, incentivize. We want to do more stories about women, about Latinos. But I always have the comedic edge because that's my background. I've done a lot of comedy, not stand up, but sketch. And comedy plays, comedy movies. So that's how it happened, and that's what I'm doing, Len. I'm actually I'm a script doctor. I help people with their scripts. I get paid for that.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a script doctor, and I'm producing, I'm directing. I get hired to direct. I direct commercials, corporate videos. So I mean, ever since I just shifted a little bit, I'm doing okay. Oh, and during the pandemic, listen to this. I don't know when you started this show.
April.
During the pandemic, April last year.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So you did what I did.
Yeah, exactly.
I went crazy. I was like, oh my God! As a creative person, I was like, oh my God! I got to do something. I took my TV pilot. I have a TV series. It's an LGBT Latino TV comedy half-hour pilot. And I have the series. I have 10 episodes, episodic. I took the pilot. I adapted it to a podcast. So we have a narrative podcast comedy, like a radio play. During the pandemic, I was going crazy. So I bought all this equipment. I hired a bunch of voiceover actors from all over the world. We recorded me on the phone giving them direction while they recorded in their studios remotely. We put it all together. I have an Emmy Award-winning, Grammy Award-winning sound designer and music composer. They did the music. And you can hear Lizzie, Gary, BB, and Trish. Okay? On any, that's the name. It's an acronym. I like acronyms.
Yeah,
LGBTQ.
I had a show about that. I don't like them, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
You don't like them?
Acronyms drive me crazy because I have to figure it out, and when you
have
have
to
to
figure it
explain it,
out.
I like
That's
to,
true.
I don't like LOL. I don't like any of that stuff. But go
Oh
ahead.
my God, you're so funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then you'll hate.
No,
my talent.
I don't. I
So
love you, but it's all good.
So anyway, it's out now, guys. To my the pilot. We're trying to get sponsors for the rest of the series because I do have a 10-episode arc, and it's called Lizzie, Gary, BB, and Trish Gay, and you can find it everywhere, like here, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean. Anywhere you get Pandora, anywhere you get your podcast, you can find the half-hour comedy. It's narrative. We created a whole world. It's not talk show format. It's an actual sitcom in radio.
Well, I like the idea, and one thing that you and I need to collaborate because I actually have a very good idea for a TV show, kind of loosely based on my life, moving from New York to Kentucky, and I have an outline. I've had trouble writing the script. I need a little assistance, so I've got it. It's a great idea. So we'll work together on this because I think it's a terrific time to do this kind of stuff. We need better. We need better television. We need better content, and I'm glad that you're doing it with Fwakata. Right? Is that good? Fwakata.
Yes,
I'm getting good.
perfect.
I'm getting good.
Fwakata
Look at me. Look at me. I feel good. I can have Cafe Cubano now. Is that right?
Yes, you can. Yeah, well, you could, even if you couldn't pronounce it, you could definitely.
Oh,
have
I love Cafe Cubano, and
Isn't it great?
Yes, Cuban
And so
food
what
is great.
It's delicious. No, because I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you started the show in April during the quarantine,
Mm-hmm.
and why? Because you were going stir crazy. You needed to do something, like all of us were.
I needed a little bit of an outlet. I do play-by-play for high school football locally, and I do some other stuff. I wanted to keep. I always like the radio stuff. You get a real job during the week, and you want to do some stuff. And I figured, what? You start to get middle-aged, although I'm not going to live to be 104, but that's another story. You never know, right? You never know.
Right. You never know.
But you start to get
might.
middle-aged, and you start to think about, like, what I'm going to do in the next act. So I said, I've always wanted to do this, and, people came up with an idea, said, hey, you always have good opinions, or at least you come across that way. And
Right. Or
I've
at
never
least you
hosted.
think you do.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
At least you think you do.
Well, exactly. It's not that good, but but anyway, I just enjoy this, and this is fun for me. There are people that like it. They like the idea that it's light and it's easy to listen to. What I find is a lot of people have the same complaints that I do, but I just the one who voices it, right? But I try not to be controversial. I don't. I try to stay that way. But yeah, I did it because it was good therapy for me. In addition, it's something to look forward to. It really is. Like, see what I found.
Great.
I'm very nostalgic lately as I get older, right? And the fact that I'm talking to you after 20 years, and we've communicated before on social media, but to see you and talk to you this morning, this is the kind of stuff that I love even more than the actual show because it's a conversation we would have had if we weren't recording, right?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Yes.
And that's what I brought. There's a show, if you go back to episode 8, there was a show I did with my friends that I grew up with. It was called Back in My Day. And I had them on a Zoom call, and we recorded it. It was tremendous, reliving the times when I was, from the time 12 to 14 or 11 to 14 years old. So it's a good episode. Go back and listen to it, episode 8. I've got 42 episodes of this that I've been doing.
This is amazing.
Yeah,
This is amazing. See, the thing is with our show, we do need more sponsors though, because it costs a lot of money to make one episode of our show because we have post-production. We have a lot of post-production. We have music. We have the sound effects that create the world, and then we have the actors. So, but I'm going to finish it. You'll hear about it. I'll finish it sometime this year. I've got a lot of projects down the pike, guys. I want to finish the podcast. I want to shoot the pilot for the actual TV show. And I'm going to start working on getting investors for the Duke and Duchess of Queens. That's really my next big project.
I like that title, Duke and Duchess of Queens. I will watch that. That is something I would love to watch. It just seems right off the bat. It's like on Netflix. Let's get Netflix to do it, right? Can we?
I'm trying. I got. You know, and you like nostalgia.
Yeah.
Actually, people who love nostalgia, it takes place in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, my
and
favorite
it's a
time.
childhood story. Yeah, it's a little combo of like a Stand By Me with Stranger Things. You know, it's got like that little feel, nostalgic feel. So I'm very excited about it. Oh, I forgot to mention because they're gonna kill me. We just finished post production on a short film called Crabs in a Barrel, and it's a dark comedy. You guys stay tuned for it with it. The director's Michael Leone. I actually did a play with him. I was an actor in one of his plays in Miami last year, called The Cubans. He's a very successful writer. He's going to be the next big thing, honestly. He's amazing. His wife is Ashley Alvarez. She's on the movie too. It's called Crabs in the Barrel. It's actually about envy, jealousy, and the competitiveness of social media.
Oh God, I've been doing
yeah.
shows on that every week. I talk
Really?
I talk about, because social media is one of those things where it's always it's kind of like the bumper sticker mentality. George Carlin did a whole bit on it. You know, my kid's an honor roll student. It's like, yeah, well, my son sold drugs to your honor roll student, right? You know, it's the
I like that. Yeah.
but it's true. It's everybody's in competition, keeping up with the Joneses, and it's like on social
That's
media they make it
That's
seem
it.
like it's a perfect world. But it's really
Yes.
not. You know, somebody's sleeping with this one. You know, your husband's out with the
Yes.
secretary. I mean, it's a mess. But
Len,
yeah,
you literally hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it's about. And it goes dark. It's comical,
Yeah.
but it goes dark quickly because of what you said, because the real world isn't that perfect. Everything's perfect on social media, but the real world isn't like that.
No.
So we there's this twist. I produced it. I didn't write it or direct it. I produced this one. I was hired. And it's really exciting because it's got that really contemporary postmodern kind of thing going on. So I'm excited. I'm excited for that to come out.
well, I'm excited for you, and you've got a lot of the same ideas that I've been talking about, and I love
Yes,
it.
I
think we really
know.
need to collaborate on that TV show idea, because I think we need another sitcom to do it. And what better
will.
what
Reach
better
out. Reach
what
out.
better than the Cubans and the Jews to work together? I think it would be terrific,
oh my
right?
God, there's so much in common. We have so much in common.
Absolutely. I think we've got it. Now you can like Lens Burning Bush on Facebook. At Lens Burning Bush. You can follow Lens Burning Bush at Lens Burning Bush on Twitter. Listen on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, iHeartRadio, TuneIn. You can also ask Alexa to play Lens Burning Bush. She will do it, although sometimes unwillingly. But you can get her to try to play it. I think sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I mean, you could always bribe her.
Yeah, you have to give her something, but she'll try to play it. We've got Stitcher, all these. There's a lot of things I don't even know how it's
Oh my
even
God,
on
me
there.
too. Me too.
I'm trying to put all the audio on YouTube. I don't even know what the heck I'm doing. A lot of people want video. I'm a radio guy, and I always say I have a face for radio. So I think that's kind of the way we'll
I think
stay.
you have a very nice
Oh,
face.
You're so wonderful.
I
See,
do.
this is why I want you back. I want you back. We'll have you on
I'll be
again.
back. Yes, please.
I appreciate it. It is such a great thing to see you and talk to you. And Fuakata Films, God bless. I hope sounds like a wonderful thing, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll make sure I put it on the page, and I did put it.
You did.
Yeah.
I saw that.
So
Len.
I
Thank you so much, Len, for having me, for calling me. It was so good to see you after
Yeah.
20 years. Actually, see you.
Yes.
We have
yeah,
communicated
we're
here to
doing
there.
like in My Big Fat Greek Wedding too. We're doing it over the FaceTime.
We're doing it over the
Over
FaceTime.
the FaceTime. We're doing it over the FaceTime.
It was so good. Thank
Yes.
you. I appreciate
I appreciate it. Well, thanks to Jezebel Montero. I'm Len Harvey. We'll be back with another episode of Lens Burning Bush next week. So long.